Well, good morning, EC family. Sitting here today in my office with Reverend Mike Coulson, the pastor of People's EC Church in Wiseport. And I asked him to come and visit with me today to talk about our vision. We want to be a dynamic movement of God. Part of that vision is to be a movement that multiplies disciples, that is making disciples who make disciples. The reason I asked Mike to come and visit with me today is he and his church are doing that. Actually, Mike has put together a resource, a book. It's called Becoming Jesus' Apprentice. It's available on Amazon, but I wanted to ask him, Mike, what brought you to the point of writing this? And then how are you guys using it?
Yeah, so the point of how that book came about, that tool came about, is I attended the conference that Mike Snedeker invited us to at the Kingdom Extension Committee. And the vision was set there in November of being a church that plants churches and multiplies. But starting off with, before we can be a church that multiplies, we need to be multiplying disciples.
Right.
So we came back, kind of scrapped everything that we were doing, put all the focus on how do we make disciples who will make disciples.
Right.
So we boiled it down to just 3 simple questions that people would journal each day as they read a passage in the Word.
Right.
Which is just, what does this passage say? What happened then? What is God speaking to me personally through it? And then, what is one specific and measurable way that I can begin to live this out in my life? So the book just takes what we were leading people through verbally for about half of a year, and said, here's a tool that has everything that we've been explaining that you can read yourself. It has it all marked out for daily reading, but also that people can take that book and then give it to somebody else and say, hey, I've been doing this thing. It's been really impactful for me.
Right.
Would you like to do it with me?
Sure. Yeah.
So I keep at least one copy in my car wherever
Right.
I go.
Right.
And God has brought me, cross paths with people where I've been able to go, hey, I have this.
Right.
Would you like to do this with me? And it's such an easy opener
Right.
of where do we go? Because I think we all want to do discipleship, but what does that conversation look like? How do we invite someone?
Yeah. So this book is not really a book about how to do it. It's a workbook, correct?
Yeah, it's a guidebook and journal.
So you actually learn how to do it in the beginning of the book, and then work your way through. And you use the Gospel of John.
Yeah.
Right. Great. So how is it being received in your congregation?
It's being received really well. So I've never seen our congregation so excited to be in the Word.
Right.
And it's never been easier than it is now to invite people into that relationship as well. So I'm really excited as we move forward with it.
And I think one of the challenges of being a movement is multiplying rapidly. And most Christians are a little hesitant to say, well, I don't know if I know enough yet to be a disciple of Jesus and then disciple someone else. So this kind of takes the fear of that away, do you think?
Yeah, we try to keep it short, remind people of the woman at the well. She's
Right.
kind of our role model of, she didn't know a whole lot, right? But she knew enough to know that Jesus was the Messiah and that everybody else needed to hear him.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to teach people to do. As they're becoming a disciple, we're actually coaching them at the same time of how to disciple others.
Right.
By saying, you just need to know those 2 things, and Jesus isn't at a well on the outside of town. His words are now recorded for us in the Gospels, so let's bring people to Jesus to hear from him there.
Right. Great. So, listen, we're being challenged to be a movement, which is we need to multiply rapidly. So, disciples of Jesus, discipling other people to know Jesus, before we get it all figured out.
Yeah.
And this is one of the great tools that are out there. Mike is one of our pastors and is willing to help you out, to talk with you. If you want a discipleship plan or need a little help with your church doing that, our church health community is more than willing to help you out with that as well. So just a challenge today from Mike and I. Don't wait till you have everything figured out with Jesus before you share Jesus with somebody else. Disciples can be disciples as they're making disciples. So that's what it means to be a movement. And so thank you for your participation in this movement that we call the Evangelical Congregational Church. And thanks, Mike, for joining me this morning.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
All right. Until we see each other again, have a great day.